Yo, 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 yo. Welcome everyone to Across the Hobby. I'm grateful for each of you and grateful that I can have a few moments to spend with you, maybe even, depending on how long this is, a couple of hours to spend with you today, going through the big auctions of the week. I will tell you is I start today on a more serious note than usual. I was considering today not doing the show. Um, Mostly because of a couple things that have happened that many of you probably already know about. Many of you probably already know about how they affect me, but I just want to take a second today to talk about those things at the start of this. And if it's not something you want to hear, obviously you know how to skip forward. But for those of you who do, I thought I'd put this front and center. So I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I've been a member since I was 17. Converted. I was the only member in my family who converted, and it's a really important part of who I am. It is something that guides my life. It's something that I believe in with all my heart. I know all about the church's history, both good and bad, and I believe it's true. And that's who I am. So I'm not going to make any apologies for that. That's who I am. So with that said, over the weekend, we had a couple of things happen that were really hard for us. One really in particular. First thing that happened is we lost our president of our church, our prophet. We believe he's a prophet the same way that Moses and Abraham were prophets of old. We believe he's a prophet today, and that's Russell M. Nelson. He was 101, lived an amazing life, an absolutely incredible life, and him getting to leave this earth and go home. That was something that. That was something that for most of us was a celebratory thing. I'm just grateful for him and grateful for what he taught us. And but the second thing that happened, I got up early on Sunday. I knew what happened late Saturday. We've had some family or some friends in town, actually friends from my mission in England. And those friends that have been in town, it's made it so like sometimes I have to stay up a little bit late. And so I was up Saturday night late, and I found out about President Nelson and turned over to my wife. I was like, Ange, we lost President Nelson. And then got up the next morning and had a really early church meeting. My church meetings on Sunday typically are between 2 and like 5 or 6 hours of meetings. I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people, but it's significant. So I had a few hours of meetings on Sunday, and I got out of one of my meetings. And one thing that I'm working on doing is not spending so much time on Sunday on my phone doing card things. I probably shouldn't do any of those things. I'd like to not do any of those things. I'd like to focus on Sunday more on the important things in the world, or more on the more important things in the world, on my family and faith and those types of things. But I got on my phone. And my good friend, I don't even know his name exactly on Instagram, but it's Ichiro Collects or Ichiro Cards or something like that. You know who you are. He messaged me and he said, "Hey, I just wanted to give you condolences." And I thought it was about President Nelson. And I was like, yeah, that's so nice of you to say that, right? And then I looked, and further down it said, and it said, I wanted to, give you condolences on the loss of the president of your church and for the attack today. And I went, attack today? And so of course I got on the news and found out what probably a lot of you already know, which is that one of our meeting houses in Michigan was attacked, and somebody ran a car or a truck into the side of the car. Hard for me to talk about. It's an emotional thing for me, but I'll try to keep it together here. Knowing this is a card show, right? But knowing, again, that sort of my outlet, this is the way that I get to talk to so many of you. He ran the car into the side of the church. The story that I've heard since is that, as I would hope members of my church would do, the first thing they thought of was, how can we go help this man who just ran a car into our building? And so that's who we want to be. We want to be people who help people. And so, but he didn't do it unintentionally. He did it deliberately, and he had a gun. I believe that either a semi-automatic or an automatic weapon. And he got out of the car and just started firing shots, and it confirmed as of right now as 4 people have passed away. He then lit fire to the church with gasoline and burned the whole thing to the ground. And there's a lot of feelings. There's a lot of feelings because there's a lot of feelings in all of these cases. Let me start out by saying that every time we hear of something like this, it's hard. And I think it's important that we don't lose our humanity, something I've talked about before. We don't become desensitized. That's another way to say it. It's not just because it's people of my faith that this happened to, that it influences me. But in this case, full disclosure, yeah, it is. That's a big reason why it influences me as much as it does. But I've listened to so many of these stories where it's broken my heart. I have a few more thoughts before we get on to the show. It's important that we don't get desensitized, and that we continue to love the people who are around us, whether they're like us or not. One of the core teachings in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is that we're all children of God, and that means you're not my brother or my sister because you believe like me. You're my brother or my sister because you're a child of God. And so I don't think I'm worth more than anybody else. I don't think that any member of my church is worth more than anybody else. I believe we're all loved by God, and believe that Jesus Christ is our Savior. I believe that he is there to save all of us. And even those people who oppose us, I look at them and say to myself, that's somebody who I hope is saved. And I hope that they can figure things out, and that they can see, figure out what the purpose to this life is, that they can learn the things that they need to. And, I don't hold animosity towards people who do bad things, because I don't think it does us a lot of good. Our prophet, President Nelson, has recently talked about being peacemakers. And it does not mean laying down and letting somebody step on your neck. It means that and it's a complicated thought, but it means that we have a job to do as followers of Jesus Christ, to help people to find peace, that we don't try to escalate, that we try to help people that doesn't mean we don't fight back. Okay. And that doesn't mean we don't defend ourselves, and that doesn't mean we don't fight for the things that matter, but it means that we can help create peace with people, and remind them of who they are, and try to see the best in people. There are those of you who've known me a long time who have never heard me talk about this. That's not lost on me. I've never talked like this in a way that, a lot of the people who I know have heard, but I've been accused of the years of being too forgiving. And I've been accused through the years of always seeing the best in people. And at times I felt like that's a negative. And then I remember deep down, like, that's who I think I'm supposed to be. Right. So those are some thoughts. I think it's hard to be a peacemaker, but I'm going to keep trying. And I hope that other members of my church and other people in the world will do that with me, because I think that's what Jesus Christ wants us to do. He wants us to try to bring peace. He is the Prince of Peace, and that's our job. The other thing I want to talk about that's hard about this story is that it reminds me of all the other things that are happening right now that people immediately politicize. If I get on X or Twitter and I research this story, the vast majority of the posts about it that I will find will be other Christians talking about how my church and members of my church are not Christian. So people are welcome to believe what they want to about us. That's not, I'm not going to argue with that. I think the timing is interesting and less than Christian, less than Christ-like. I think, but I don't need to fight on that. It is what it is. People are going to say what they want. People are going to do what they want and say what they want and have the feelings they want and lose their humanity in the process. Um, I guess I would say that as me and my wife and our family and all of the people who I know, who I'm close to, who are good, strong, active, faithful members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, as I look at all of us striving to live a life to live a life where we follow Him, Him as He's taught, and Him as He is taught, as we learn about Him through the Bible, through modern day revelation, through the Book of Mormon, through that's why we're called Mormons, is because we have this book. People have called us Mormons for years. We don't really call ourselves that. We certainly don't call ourselves that anymore. We call ourselves that to sort of help the rest of the Christian world, sort of know who we are. I think the reality is a lot of people don't like us because we have additional scripture. We proclaim to be the true Church of Jesus Christ here on the earth today, and because we go out and we proclaim that to the world. I think that's why people hate us. But we do those things because we believe that they're true. And so to be in the news in the way that we are right now, it's really hard. We're hurting and we're feeling attacked, and we're feeling like a lot of us are sort of just like, wow, like our church just got burned down. And we stand, like there was a poll that was recently done. I could pull it up. There was a poll that was recently done that basically showed that the Latter-day Saints are not liked by other Christians, but we like other Christians. And you'll see this in the comments. You'll see us like trying to be friendly to other Christians, and they'll be like, we hate you. You're not Christian. You don't believe in the real Jesus Christ. And it's really hard for us because I don't know what you want me to do. I've literally given my whole life to the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's everything in what I do. It's who I am. It's what my family is all about. It's every day of our lives. It's the same Jesus Christ, except for, I guess, I don't know what you believe in. I guess we might believe some very small differences about some of the nature of God, but we're talking about really little things here. One of the main things, I guess, is we don't believe in the Trinity. We don't believe that God, the Father, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost are actually in one form, like one person, one thing. And I don't think less of you if you think that at all. I respect your belief. In fact, one of our main tenets is that we believe that all men everywhere should have the ability to worship what they may. I feel really strongly that like some of my best friends in the world, some of my very best friends in the world, guys, are other Christians, Jewish people, people who aren't religious. Like I'm good with everybody, again, because I believe that you're all children of God. I believe you're all loved by God. I believe all of you are. I don't believe any of you are bad. But we live in a world where a lot of people look at us like we're terrible because we believe something different. And that's a hard thing, especially when you're going through what we've gone through in the last couple of days. So again, I know that's not what you wanted to hear from me this morning, probably many of you, but that's the first 14 minutes of the show. And now I'm going to try to get on to the things that you probably are here for. But thanks for listening. All right, let's talk today about first the big auctions from last week. And boy, there were some big auctions last week. There were some huge things. I should say, as I start this, I'm going to go through Golden's auction last week, the Fanatics Collect Premier, Fanatics Collect Weekly. We're just going to review some of the biggest sales. I'm going to talk about hoodies and MC sports cards and alt. We're going to do all of those in about the next 15 minutes. Then I'm going to tell you about a conversation that I had. I did a post this week that people really reacted to. I want to talk about that. And I want to tell you about what's going on this Friday, which is really exciting for me. A really positive thing, positive acquisition. I'm really excited about. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about the biggest auctions coming up this week. All right. So we've got MC sports cards and hoodies. We have Golden. We have alt. We have Fanatics Collect, and we have Card Hobby. And by the way, if you just get to this point and you want to send me a message, and if there's something that you want to understand from my perspective, you can do one of two things. You can leave it in the comments, or if you're not comfortable with it, please DM me. If you're somebody who I've been a friend with for 40 years and you want to ask questions, please do. If you want to ask, if you want to say, hey, here's something that I don't understand about you guys, can you help me to understand? I'm like so thrilled to do that completely. Just know that that's out there. Okay. All right. So let's talk first about Golden. So the biggest, most expensive auction for Golden for last week was the Shohei Orange in a BGS 9.5 with 10 auto. And this is the batting stance card. I had a friend recently who was talking about how he wanted to get a big Shohei card. And I think the realization has set in for people who love baseball. And we've talked about this for years, guys. It's because he's one of the first people, maybe the first person in decades, to sort of transition from just being a great baseball player to like he has some hold on like he might be like entering this other world of like culturally important, which baseball players have had a really hard time with. We learned this from the 25 and 25. If you look back at the last couple of decades, last 25 years, you ask which baseball cards are most iconic, people just immediately think of the Trout cards. And it's really interesting because Mike Trout as a human being is just not as known as so many guys in the world of sport. So then you ask, okay, well, who's next? Who are like the best known baseball players of the last 25 years? And really what happens is you get into guys that played before then. It's like, well, can we count Griffey? Can we count McGuire? Can we count Bonds? And it's like, wow, there's just not a lot of these guys that are known outside of the world of baseball. Shohei is that guy. Shohei has a chance to totally transcend all of it. And so, this orange here is not a PSA 10. It's an orange 9.5. It's not a red to 5. It's just an orange. And one of the two oranges, right? 350 grand almost on that card. Almost $350,000 on a PSA 9 10 auto MJ from 1998 Upper Deck. Another card that was very interesting to watch, $341,000 on an out of 99 BGS 9.510 Steph. PSA 10 MJ 231,000. A Michael Jordan PMG from the 98 set goes for 225,000. Ronaldo in a PSA 10 does 220. The rare triple autograph goes for 207. I mean, look at this. We're 7 items in and we're still over $200,000. And then we're going to have a bunch more six figures, 197 for a PSA 9 gold chrome refractor of LeBron. One of the really interesting cards to watch was this Shohei because there was an 8.5, so not totally apples to apples, but an 8.5 from BGS that sold at Fanatics Collect last week. And the multiplier for being in kanji, remember the first 10 are in kanji, the multiplier ended up being almost 12x. Really interesting. An Ichiro number to 25 from 01. This is one of them. I wanted to do a reel on. I wanted to learn more about like how many autographs there are from 01 because you'll remember 01's the first year that we got Ichiro and Pujols in Major League Cards. $172,000. Okay, one of the most interesting stories of the weekend was this LeBron here. And I want to talk about why, and we'll talk about the Jordan, then we'll move on from Golden. So this card originally sold last year for Heritage, this LeBron right here. In fact, I'm going to make it big so you guys can see it. It sold for $150,000 on the dot. Now, I want to tell you guys, I did some content around this time, and you never know how much your content sort of influences people. My goal, I've said this before, my goal is not to influence people with my content. My goal is to give education and to talk about the things that are important. But sometimes you sort of sit back and wonder, did that influence how people bought the item? I wonder if this one might have. Let's talk about it a little bit. So this card was in an authentic holder, same patch, same autograph, in fact, the same serial number. It was also the same serial number. Okay, and it sold for $150,000 last year. Now, my thought was this. I'm just going to be real. I looked at it and I was like, it's such a nice card. Such a nice autograph, such a nice patch. It's really got everything going for it. but 150 grand was a lot of money. Again, it was in an authentic holder. Now, when I did the reel about it, the reason that I did a reel about it was that LeBron and this, sorry, I'm losing my mind. This card I had discovered through talking to the guys at Heritage that they had put a minimum grade. And I don't remember exactly, would have to look back at the reel, but they put a minimum grade on it of a 7. I think it was a 7, which meant that if the card was going to grade a 5 or a 6, it just would have said authentic instead. This is one of the most interesting things in the market. PSA grades cards authentic for several different reasons. One reason is that the buyer, or the person who's grading the card, has requested it to be graded authentic. They don't want it to have a numeric grade for whatever reason. Another reason is somebody has put a minimum grade number on it, like had been previously done by Heritage with this one. They had said minimum grade of, I believe it was a 7. So if it was anything less than a 7, it wasn't going to be graded. Another reason that they won't put a grade on it is because the card doesn't qualify in terms of its specifications. And this is as far as I understand, but I do know a thing or two about these things. So let me tell you what I know about it. I have sent in cards where they have messaged me, and actually I've received a call back where they've said to me, listen, this card is not tall enough. The card has been cut short. And so my response is, wait, are you saying it's trimmed? And the answer is, we're not saying it's trimmed. We're just saying we can't put a numeric grade on it. And this is the part that people don't understand. You might understand it. PSA will not mark something trimmed if they don't know it's trimmed, but they will not give it a numeric grade if it's not the right size. They won't. So the card that I sent in, they were unwilling to put a numeric grade on it. It's graded and authentic to this day. And so when you're a buyer and you see a card up that says authentic, it could mean any of those things, and maybe it could mean other things. This card right here was in an authentic holder, and I reported that out to the world. I was like, guys, they said don't grade this if it's under a 7. Again, might have been 6, but I think it was a 7. And so this card was then purchased for $150,000. And my reaction when it sold for $150,000 was, that might be a little high. But I don't know, because this quality of patch on this card with a 10 autograph, I sort of was like, man, maybe that is a good deal. I wasn't really sure. Seeing it grade a 5 and then seeing it now go for $170,800 a year later makes me wonder if 150 was too expensive. I think it probably was. And I wonder if me saying what I said maybe had an effect on it, which again is not the goal. I know people think it is. It's not. The goal is to educate in a way where people go, oh, that's interesting. Let me go look at the auction. And when I say the auction, I mean the whole of the auction, right? Because I work on behalf of the auction houses to help people to get there. That's the whole purpose. It's not to get the card to sell for more. I don't have any stipulations. If it sells for X, I don't receive any payment when the card sells for X. That's not what I've done in the past with these auction houses. Okay. That's not how I work. So with this card, it's selling for $170,800. You might say, well, Adam, why are you doing all this talking? It still sold for more. It sold for more in a way up market, but also like the fees on this, if the gentleman who bought it for 150, depending on what his rate was and depending on what he paid to get the numeric grade on there, he may have still lost money on this, or maybe he made a few grand. I'm not sure. What I do know is that it wasn't probably the spread that he was probably hoping for. So, all right, let's get out of there and then come back to this. This was my number 1 card in my top 10. This Michael Jordan. It's good to see it get a really big sale here. This is a really big sale for this card. That I'd say a few things about this one. I don't know for sure if this is the very first Michael Jordan pack pulled card. There's a couple of other ones that I think compete. Namely, there's one out of baseball. It's like SP Top Prospects or something like that. And then maybe the Olympic one too. Maybe I need to look that up so it's not just off the top of my head. I'm not really sure, but it's certainly amongst the first ones. I do want to teach just a little bit about this, because if you don't know already, this is one of the most interesting cards ever. So see at the top here, 1994 Collector's Choice. This came out of a box of Collector's Choice, not as a redemption. This card came straight out of a box of Collector's Choice, a $50 box of cards. Seriously, like maybe even like a $30 box of cards. Collector's Choice was really pretty cheap. depending on where you bought it. Like this literally might have come out of a $30 box of cards. And if you look at it really closely, you see the big bold autograph. Obviously, Jordan's playing baseball. It's funny because I always want to say it's pack pulled because it was wrapped, but it wasn't in a pack. It just sat on top of the box. And the vast majority of these cards that came out on the top of the box were not signed. Jordan was not the only player in the set. There was like, I don't know how many guys, 4 guys, I think, maybe 5 guys. It wasn't a huge number. And then I think all of them also signed. But here's the most interesting part. If you're a person who loves like the history of how cards have been produced over the years, I'm going to tell you, this is like one of the most interesting cards that has ever been made. And it shows some of the evolution in what has happened to the world of cards. 1994, right? So 31 years ago. 31 years ago. Man, hard to believe. There is no certificate language on this card. There's no congratulations. Did you notice that? There is just stats on the back. And MJ playing golf. So golf on the back and baseball on the front with a big autograph. So how can you know whether this card is a card that was inserted into the pack with an autograph, or if it was one of the ones without an autograph, and then somebody either got him to sign it, or heaven forbid they faked an autograph successfully? How can you possibly know whether this card is a real deal autographed out of the box autograph? Well, some of you already know the punchline here, but those of you who don't, you're going to find this so interesting. Look at the back right. See this hologram? See how it's a diamond shape? All of the ones that came out of the box that were autographed have that diamond shape. And all of the ones that came out of the box without an autograph have a circle instead. See, this is how Upper Deck very first said, okay, we have to have a way to differentiate this. Otherwise nobody's going to know. And then later, they came up with the authentication language. The Olympic autograph is interesting because the Olympic autograph does not have the certificate language on the back, but the rest of the cards in that set does, or do, if I can speak correct English. So I love this card. It is oversized. It is the reason that I haven't gone absolutely bananas for it in the past. In fact, it's the reason I haven't done even more research on it, because it's big. As it's called Blow Ups autograph. It's not an 8x10, but it's large, like a 4x6 or something like that. I love it. I absolutely love the piece. Massive congratulations to whoever purchased it. And I'd love to keep going. There's so many big cards. I mean, look, we're still in the 6 years. I guess let me highlight this Kobe because I talked about it. This 06 1-of-1 exquisite base card was really interesting to me. I think it was sitting at like 35 grand when I did the reel. And I wondered if it was close to being done bidding because there was an 08 1-of-1 Kobe that sold just a couple of months ago for like $35,000 or $40,000. But the way that we've seen this massive uptick, and I think also like a recognition by people of exquisite and its importance in the era, of the era, excuse me. I think people were clearly going to be more excited about it. At least I thought that they would. And the fact that the MJ, which we're going to see in a second, if Fanatics Collect, sold for so much money, I just thought that the Kobe had a chance to really take off, and it did. It hit 114,000. Where again, the 1-of-1 from a couple years, or maybe even just the next year later, sold for a lot more, or sold for a lot less money fairly recently. Look at this. We're at the end of the first page. We're still in the 6 figures, guys. Pretty crazy. Okay. So I said I was going to do this all in 15 minutes, and I took 13 minutes on Golden. So as usual, probably take a little bit longer. The Messi here, Fanatics Collect, I think a lot of people were like, okay, this is going to go really, really big, like massive, massive sale, because we saw a few big private sales. Card didn't quite get to $1 million. I think the soccer community probably a little bit disappointed on this one. And they'll point to, or at least some people point to, hey, those private sales, a couple of them had the NBA sticker. They were considered to be nicer, maybe newer grades or something like that. It's all true, but look, whenever you move from 1.5 and like that super positive momentum down to under $1 million, people are going to notice that. No matter how you look at it, guys, no matter what you want to say about the pricing, that's the most iconic soccer card ever made. And in a 10, in its population, it is going to be a premier card moving forward. It just is. So Will it always be $1 million card? I don't know about that, but it wasn't on this night, but it will always be a huge deal card. You know what I should do? I should sort this by highest first. Let me do that real quick, and then we'll keep back at it. The Mantle at over $1 million for a PSA 8. The card of the night for me, the one that I was most interested to see in the wake of the dual Logoman autograph that sold a few weeks ago, the one that you all know I'm talking about, for almost $13 million, over 400 grand for these two. When I did some work for Sotheby's about a year ago, and I was able to go out to the Fanatics Collect offices in New York. I was able to take my wife. It was really cool. And I was able to do some work on some of these cards. I was able to see one of these, and I don't know if it was this one. I think it probably was this one, because I remember the holofoil around the windows, and not all of these dual Logomans have this awesome holofoil around the window. This is such a nice card, and it's graded in authentic. So again, not all authentic cards don't do well. With an autograph grade, not even any autograph grade, just an authentic. These two guys together, I think as the years go by, and as we become more and more grateful for what they did for basketball, I just think it's a great piece. I do. The highest selling Michael Jordan star card other than the two PSA 9s ever. I confirmed that with Card Ladder during the Sports Cards live show. This is it. This is the third most expensive star MJ ever. And I messaged a friend. I said, what do you think about this? And he said, I'm really surprised. I didn't think it would get into the 400,000s. So that's that. This Mahomes massively rallied. One of the things that I'll point out on this one, and I've said this before, there are all these different variations of this card. There is 1 to 5 that's green. There's 1 to, I think it's also green, that's out of his jersey number. There's obviously the 1/1 shield that's the most expensive. But the ones that have patches that look like this are generally either out of the this version, I think they call it like the hollow gold or something. And then there's the 1 out of 5. The 1 out of 10 just looks a lot nicer. I know the 1 of 5 is rarer, and maybe in the end that's all that will matter to people in prices. But aesthetically, this card right here is so much nicer than the 1 out of 5. We see it a little bit with basketball in 2012 Flawless. You'll see more of the dual patch autos that are out of 5 than you'll see the ones out of 10. And I think it's because I'm not alone in thinking how nice this card is out of 10. Complete set with MJ in all PSA 10. Pretty amazing. We've seen the saw my friend Signed in Slab talking about this. We've seen some of these PSA 10s of Jordan sell for like this much. And in this case, you get the entire set. And it's not like the entire set's filled with cards that are just a couple $100. Like, there's a lot of cards in that set that are worth thousands of dollars. And so you have to wonder, with what that sold for, is there a chance to just immediately break that set up and make a lot of money? I don't know. It's worth thinking about, though. And whenever you see a set like that up, even if you don't like it, if you're somebody who like wants to make money, a lot of times there are opportunities to buy complete sets and break them up to make money. This is interesting. So this one sold for $324, 8.5 with 10 auto. And this one sold for $341, 9.5, BGS 9.5 with 10 auto. This one's out of 99. This one's out of 25. I think you make the case that this is the better card. Maybe because people were duking it out, and they were like, I'll take a break here, and then the golden one ended later, and so they went harder. I'm not sure. I wouldn't rather have this card. It's worth thinking about. And then another card that I made a reel on that I was really excited for how well it would do. I sort of teased this during the show with Jeremy, but at one point I had a chance at this card. I would have had to give up my PMG Championship MJ. And it wasn't like a 1-for-1 deal. There was other stuff involved, but I just couldn't do that. And I'm glad I didn't do it. So the PMG Champ MJ is a lot less rare card. There's 50 of them, but it just matters a lot more. And that's the trade-off there. So which card is better? I think my PMG Champ right now would probably sell for more than this. But it did make me kind of wonder if maybe I'd made a mistake. What I know is the Exquisite brand, especially because of that big sale that we saw a couple weeks ago on that dual Logoman auto, there's more interest in it even than before, which is saying something because it's been so popular for so long. A card that I think undersold, And other people are going to disagree with me on that, and that's fine. The Black Label Kobe Bryant Gold Refractor. On the show, it was very clear to me that I was the only one who felt this way. But I just think, even though I am not a collector of gold labels like this, or excuse me, black labels, I do believe that there's still this massive contingent of people who do collect based on conditional rarity. And so seeing it sold for 276 was a little bit surprising. I thought it would be more. This Steph right here is a sticker autograph, but there is a chance that it's the very first Logoman auto of Steph where the Logoman is game worn. I'm not sure it's game worn because the language is bad. And then Jeremy and I had a great conversation on this card. There's different ways to think about it, and I would like to do more research, but I sort of thought that might sell for a little bit more as well. This triple autograph, 204,000. We're still over 200 grand, and we're on like row 4, row 5 now. I mean, just the premiere was absolutely insane, guys. The weekly was also insane. $50,000 for this Messi from 04 Mega Cracks, different type of card than we know of. Second year gold Kaboom. Second year, not first year of Wemby, over 40,000. Anthony Edwards, 1 of 10 downtown gold. We just continue to see these downtown cards sell for so much money. I feel like I'm just lost. Like, what do I not know? What do I not get? But I think people are just sort of saying, hey, these are the inserts of the era. These are going to be a big deal. And I've asked people who believe whether the bidding is real or if there's any shenanigans. And the response that I've gotten is like, yeah, you should be concerned, but it seems like this bidding is real. Like people actually want to own these cards. Time will tell, man. Time will tell on these type of cards. It will. Another card that I wanted to do a reel on this one, I didn't get the chance to. This Kobe, I wonder, is that the biggest patch that you can find on a Kobe patch auto that's on a regulation size card? I think it might be. Okay, and then we'll go on to, so we'll go to MC. MC has a card that ended in the middle of the week that I need to highlight to you guys because it's so important to understand some of the things that can happen in the hobby that are bad. So look at this Jordan. Somebody had to buy it now. Some amount less than $27,499. But we need to look at this Griffey. As usual, MC had just a ton of stuff. This is just stuff that sold over $5,000 last week. And then if you get to there, and I'll look at that card that I was highlighting here in just a sec. But if you get to these cards that were at the MC monthly showcase, like insane, like how many $20,000 and $15,000 cards. We start out with a $35,000 AI, Griffey Mirror Gold for 17, the Carlos Alcaraz for 22, the McDavid Cup limited logos for 20, Ty Cobb and an SGC 4, 11 grand, 17 grand for a PSA 9. That grade there is super additive to this card. Kobe out of 25, crazy patch auto. My old card really was disappointed by this at $12,250. This is basically what it sold for over a year ago. And given what the market would sell for, now having said that, this is a 5 grade, right? The 5 grade and like that, and that definitely could hurt it. I thought this was a $20,000 card. I was just wrong. $26,000 on the Brady. It's amazing. I just can't believe that. Kobe for $13,000 on the Playmakers Theater, $13,000 on the MJ autograph, 20 grand on the 20 grand on a 1010 Griffey, 13 grand on the Kobe out of 100, $6,100 for the 23 out of 50. I just think that's a massive undersell. In some cases, we've seen these serial numbered cards sell for so much more money. In fact, we didn't talk about it at Golden, did we? There was one that sold. No, we didn't. We didn't go down far enough. There was a Kobe out of 8, number 2 out of 8, that sold for, I'm almost there. One sec right here. Sold for $79,300. The 8 of 8 sold like a week before this for 220 grand. And I want you to know the elite crazy of crazies Kobe collectors, just, it does not shock me that they would pay over 2 times the amount for an 8 of 8. It doesn't surprise me at all. But what's interesting to me about that is if you come over here to this Jordan, I think I found that Jordan has only 6. I might be remembering wrong. It might be like 8 or 9 or something, but only 6 or something serial numbered refractors ever. So he has only that many jersey numbered refractors ever, like 6 or 7, something like that. I don't know. I say 6'7", and my kids always laugh, so I just had to say it there. This one sells for 6,100. I just think that's a massive undersell. Like I think it's a great deal. I think it's a really good deal. That's what I think. 23 grand for a Kaboom Gold Jokic. Man, I love Jokic. I love this card. I would take this Jordan over this Jokic in a heartbeat. Wilt for 16 grand. Josh Allen for 18 grand. I mean, we could just go and go forever, but like you can see the number of massive over $5,000 sales at MC. Wow, gosh, this quad right here, crazy to me. The autograph is obviously so important, and it's missing here, but that card is a rookie card for those four. $10,000. It just seems like a great deal. Another one of my cards, the Logo Men of Tim Duncan. Boy, we've seen such massive booms on Logo Men cards. And I know this one's out of 7. I get it. But it's Tim Duncan from the Upper Deck era, and it sold for 10 grand. Wish I could undo the trade that I did to get that card. I would have made a lot more money if I wouldn't have made that trade. That's okay. It happens. Okay, let's talk about this Griffey. $10,000. We don't know what it actually sold for. We could go check it on Card Ladder. We're not going to do that right now. But if you click this and go see original listing, and you click on the back here, you're going to see there's no serial number. You see up here it says missing serial number. You see this as the Gem Master should be numbered 1 of 1. And this card numbered 1 of 1, like this card right here, if it was numbered 1 of 1, would be worth a lot of money. And you're like, well, how much money? It's a serial number. I don't really know. But given that it's from the set and that it has Griffey on the front, I mean, $50,000 to $100,000 wouldn't surprise me. More than that, maybe wouldn't. I mean, it's the 90s. It's a 90s 1 of 1, like the primo 1 of 1 set. Again, I know it's a serial number, or I know it's a checklist. Excuse me. The fact that it's missing the serial number, though, it sells for under $10,000. So why do I highlight this? Here's why. We have seen cards like this. We don't know how it got out, but it did. Was it via the bankruptcy? Probably. Was it via like an employee or something? There's all sorts of ways. What we know is the card is real. The card came from Flair, and it doesn't have the serial number on it. But is it possible that at some point this same card here will find its way into the hands of somebody who would like to deceive other people, and that person is going to place a serial number on this card? Yes, it's possible. There's no crime in owning this card. Let me be very clear on that. There's nothing wrong with owning this. There's nothing wrong with wanting to have this in your collection. What there's something wrong with is when you take it and then you alter it to make it appear to be a pack inserted card, serial numbered. And the problem that we've had is that the authenticators, PSA is the least likely to do this at this point. But the authenticators have become not as good about recognizing these things. And they've graded a lot of stuff that have bad serial numbers on them, fake serial numbers. If somebody can get this with a fake serial number on it and get it into that case, and then somebody else looks at it and does not do their research, then suddenly you have a $50,000 to $100,000 card. And you have somebody who's buying something and being, again, deceived. The whole intent of adding the bad serial number by some bad guy is to deceive somebody into thinking that it's a pack pulled card. Because the pack pulled version of this, guys, it's worth a lot more than 10 grand. So be on the lookout for that, just in case it resurfaces with a serial number. All right, and then last two. So check this out. Hoodies sells a Tatum Downtown Gold vinyl for some huge amount. We don't know exactly how much. Again, check Card Ladder. $7,800 to spend on this errand, and then those are the only two that were over $5,000 last week from hoodies. And then alt, I had to do alt this week because this LeBron caused a lot of people were talking about this one. This is where I sort of stand back and go, man, I'm amazed that people are like, yes, I love Downtown so much. I love the gold vinyl Downtown so much. $412,000. Stunning. This card is still pending, which I believe does not mean that it has been paid for yet. Like you can see the Mahomes hit sold. It's been paid. The Kobe for $96,000. It's numbered to 1. It's from a first-year Panini release. It has the Lakers logo. It's a lot, but Number doesn't surprise me. This number doesn't surprise me. This one does. But maybe it'll get paid for and everything will be good. It probably will. I mean, I think the vast majority of stuff at all does get paid for. I think if you look at Card Ladder and how they price things, they handle alt maybe a little bit differently than they do some other places. And I don't know exactly why, if it's because, there's more of a worry of things not being paid for. I'm not sure. But what I do know is that they do a really good job in Card Ladder of showing you what has been paid for and what hasn't. I want to stop here for a second, and then I've got like 3 different things to mention that I think are unique, and then we'll get into next week. And I'm probably going to take all 2 hours for the show. I have to keep it at 2 hours, by the way, not because I wouldn't be willing to go longer. You guys know me, I'll talk forever. But because when you upload from StreamYard, which is the thing that I use to do all of this, like showing you guys this stuff off, when you upload from StreamYard, what happens is you have to be under 2 hours or it doesn't go through on YouTube. So I've got 3 things. Okay, so first off, I did a show a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago now, and I put in the thumbnail why auction houses should charge more. And some of the people in the hobby who I really like and trust, several people messaged me to say, Adam, what are you doing? Why would you say that publicly? And I think that a couple things happened. One is some people took that thumbnail as face value of all I was saying. And some people were just like, why is Adam like sticking up for the auction houses here? Asking that they should get way more money. Is it because he works for them and maybe he'll get a benefit from that? Neither of the things are true. So let's talk about it. I actually I don't know how much people at auction houses make, but historically, whenever I've dealt with auction houses, I've always been like, gosh, this is a lot of money. It feels like it's a lot of money for what I'm getting from it. Just being real. That's how I felt. I'm not like crying, we need to give the auction houses way more money. That's not what I'm doing for the purpose of getting them more money. But I have become increasingly concerned with low rates, and the reason why low auction rates. And here's why. And I did a whole show on this, so I'm not gonna belabor it. But when I started talking to auction houses about things 5-6 years ago, they would take the full buyer's premium, and then they would take a portion of most times they would take a portion of the bid price too. So it wasn't uncommon to like have this big thing that you wanted somebody to sell. You could call up like Heritage and you'd be like, hey, will you sell this for me? And they'd say, yeah, we'll take 8%. And it's like, oh, 8% on the whole thing. It's like, no, we're taking the 20% and the 8%. And I would be like, what? Like, that's crazy. That's something that actually happened to me. I was representing somebody who had a large collection and trying to help them with some sports memorabilia. It wasn't cards, so it might have been a lower rate for cards. But I called Heritage up, and Heritage was unwilling to do. Even I would have done it with Heritage if they would have just taken the 20%. This is a true story, guys. We're not in that world anymore, though, are we? We're now in a world where I am increasingly concerned that auction houses are giving up such preferential rates that people are becoming wise to the fact that they can buy comps, that they can mislead everyone in a deceptive way by showing a transaction where they're really just having their friend buy it and then they're paying a couple of percent. I've heard, and I don't want to say anything that sort of goes against the confidences that other people placed in me, but I've heard of some rates that are very low, very low. I'm not indicating that if an auction house is charging 6% or 8% or even 5%, that there's there's a risk here that's terrible. What I am saying is as you get closer to zero, you will have more people creating false comps. And this is a really tricky place for the auction houses to be. I think some of them know it. I don't know how to fix it. It's a really hard thing when your biggest clients are doing things that are not necessarily your biggest, but when you have a big client that's doing something and you're like, how do I, say something? Because if it's being done by the letter of the law, and it's like, well, if somebody pays for it, does that mean that anything wrong happened, right? Well, the lower that rate goes, the more incentive people have to buy a fake comp, right? To have somebody win the item, pay for it, and then it's like, oh yeah, this is real. And there's no way you can tell. There's no way you can tell when they do that. The only thing prevents those bad guys from doing that is they don't want to pay a huge amount of money. And so I think that's worth thinking about, guys. And I like it is true. Like that is worth thinking about. It's worth being concerned about, because when we no longer can depend on comps at all, and I mean at all, you're looking at everything and you're like, what do I know is real? Then you have a problem. And I understand why auction houses would do everything they can to compete with each other by lowering those rates. I get it. If I was selling a card, would I want an auction house to have a high rate or a low rate? Of course, I'd rather have them have a low rate. Of course I would. But I think that if you just look at the whole of like the ecosystem, it's scary. So those are some thoughts there. That was number one. Number two, I have somebody coming into town on Friday. Somebody who has a card that I've wanted for a few years. And this is the thing that I've been saving for. I'm really excited about it and really excited to get it in hand. But he's coming in on Friday, and I will talk to you guys about it. Hopefully on Friday, I'll drop it on my Instagram and let you know what I got. But I've just had to sell a ton of stuff. I'm really excited about it. And then number three, oh yeah. So I put out, in fact, I'll show this to you guys. I just started having some thoughts about some different things. So I put out this story on my Instagram. I don't know if you guys can see this. I hope you can. See if you, I think, yeah, you guys can, right? I've got so many different screens up as I do this. So this is the thing that I put up on Saturday. And I'll let you guys read it here. Actually, I'll just read it with you. I said, as much as I'd like to think we're very mature in the hobby, I believe we have a long way to go. I talk to well-respected collectors every day where you can just feel that it's really just all about the value to them. And that's totally fine, but it's not the highest degree of what the hobby can become. For us to really grow up, collectors have to really want to own their cards. It can't be pretend. It has to be real. Otherwise, it sort of just turns into a pseudo speculation, fantasy sports, gambling, investment thing that's a lot less cool than it can be. The trick, and I misspelled the, now that I see it, the trick is that everyone, or at least a lot more people, have got to actually want to own their cards for what they are and not just what they can become, meaning cash or an increase in cash. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. So I don't know how many dozen, but probably 100 DMs about this, and like a lot of DMs. I don't know how many. Maybe it wasn't 100. Maybe it was 80. Maybe it was 150. I don't know. A lot. Which is hard to respond to that many things, but 95% of them were really positive. Like, you're right. It can't just be about the profit, right? It can't just be about the money. There has to be something else there. And then I had some small number of people who were like, why do you have something wrong with selling cards, Adam? You've sold cards before. And I'm like, what? How in the world did you read this and say, Adam doesn't think we should sell cards? I don't know where that came from. I don't know who thought that, why they thought that, why they said that. I have no idea. I will never, ever in a million years advocate that you should not sell your cards. I will never in a million years advocate that you shouldn't flip cards. I will never say these people are bad, we need to get them out. I will never do any of that. Never. That is not me. All I said was I really would like to see people want to have their cards rather than just think about the profit that they can get. I think that's the higher degree of how we can collect. If this is just about the financial part, guys, if that's the only thing that it's about for a huge percentage of us, then that's not a good thing for the hobby. And as we're sitting in a moment where so many things are going up in value, I get concerned about that. I'm not saying don't sell your cards. I'm not even saying don't care about whether they go up in value. Like, it's awesome when your cards go up in value, isn't it? When you sell something for way more than you bought it for, doesn't that feel great? Like, that's great. I don't have any negative feelings about those things, guys. What I'm saying is that can't be the only part. I don't think it should be the only part. And if it's the only part for a huge percentage of us, then this isn't real. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it can be more than that. And I think as people care about the history of the cards, and they care about, putting together sets and collecting their favorite player, and they think about, so many different things that are really cool about about what make cards great, acquiring the rarest thing, trying to build up to get something else. Like these are all things that you can do within the hobby that are fun and that are wonderful. But like some of those things have to do with just wanting to own the card because you want to own it. In the end, every card that has value must be wanted by someone. It must, in the end. And if not, I wonder if we're just sort of fooling ourselves along the way. So take that for what it's worth. Okay, we have already been going for 55 minutes, and I haven't even gotten to the auctions of today. But we're going to do it now. We're going to start out with MC Sports Cards. MC's last Monday. MC's last Monday. There for a sec. Sorry, guys. So the MC Sports Cards auction this week is not the big, giant monthly one that we saw last time, but every single Monday, I shouldn't say every single Monday, because every once in a while they'll have like a big show, like national, they take a break for, or holiday or something like that. Almost every Monday, MC has a massive auction, and this auction is no different. So if you just go to MC right now and sort by ending soonest, and you're watching this sometime Monday before the auctions end, you're going to see some huge cards. Now, the first thing that you're going to notice, somebody's breaking up, look at this, a 1969 OPC set, because, or like the high-end stuff, because look at this, a PSA 9, which is a Pop 17, a Phil Esposito, and then down here, Tony Esposito. So both of those, kind of crazy to see both those in the same auction. One's a Pop 17, the other is, it doesn't say, so it's probably a higher than 17 Pop, but still very rare. And then you get a Christian Yelich PSA 10, or sorry, PSA 10, PSA 8 from 2010. This is the red 5 of 5. Huge piece, right? Like other than the Superfractor, probably his second best card in existence. Ellie De La Cruz, a Gronkowski Contenders rookie that's 7 of 10. I don't know what the story is with 2010, why there's ones that are out of 10. This one just says ROY Contenders. Not sure. Maybe it's an insert, but definitely take a look at that. There's that Esposito again. And there's a Luca PSA 10 Hyper that's at 1310 right now. Now we get into some more 69 tops, right? Or yeah, more 69 OPC hockey cards. And then one of my favorite Brady's wearing the Michigan uni before he was a great, before we had any idea. This card literally came out of this pack and probably was sold locally here at House of Cards on the bid board for legitimately $2 to $3. And now it's $26.50 and ends tonight. Bobby Orr from 69, PSA 8 at $12.77. A one-of-one Acuna PSA 10. A Parent from 1969. A Jokic that's the red, white, and blue. This is a PSA 10. It's a big card. Definitely the most recognizable Jokic card in existence. One of the parallels that maybe isn't like the toughest one, but still not an easy one to find. Now look at this. This is interesting. A PSA 9 Steph rookie from Topps. $2,000. It's $2,200 right now. I'm telling you guys, I've talked to you guys about this for a while. Like once you actually look at the population of this card, you sit back and go, I get it. Like, I get it. People say, I don't like the image. Okay, great. So what Steph rookie do you want? Like what main Steph rookie where there's a ton of them do you want? Do you want the Prism? It doesn't exist. Do you like, this is the card. This is easily the Steph card, guys, from like, it's like the recognizable rookie card. It just is. He has another ultra recognizable rookie card. It's the National Treasures. We just looked at it a little while ago. They sell for $250,000 and up now, right? So, yeah, I am not shocked to see. I'm not shocked to see this at this price. I wonder what it holds for the long term, because other than, just a couple of guys in the history of basketball, that guy is, he's just so popular. So anyway, PSA 8 on the big three here, $2,700. Barry Sanders PSA 10 at $1,625. A Caitlin Purple, the 149. That's out of Prism. No, it's not. It's out of Select. It doesn't say Select on here. It's out of Select though, right? Yeah, it's out of Select. 449. Pelé 2.5. Oh, I love stuff like this. This is not from his rookie years, from 1961. The Pelé Collection PSA DNA. So it's a PSA DNA, which is awesome. $965. The Worm, level 3, SP Authentic. What you got to know about this set is there's 3 different levels. The first 2 look super similar. You might not have even ever noticed the difference before, but the third level is crazy with that deep embossed, the serial numbering, the die cut, tons of stuff going for it. Really an interesting Kobe right here. The last year that he actually no, he has one more in Prism, I think. He's got 2 cards from Prism where he's not playing days, and I think it's 2018 and then 2019. This is the purple ice out of 149. Ooh, big Stockton, the Classic 61 in action. $493 on that right now. Steve Smith, PMG Gold, 567. Giannis from his rookie year on card after he changed the signature. Still very cool. Court Kings is always one of people's favorites. Big Shaq rookie. Some people would say it's the most iconic Shaq rookie. I think it's number 2 probably. Definitely the insert of the year, though. The 92 Beam Team in a PSA 10. Huge card. Dikembe Mutombo, PSA 6 at $1,500. UFC card with a really cool inscription, 522. MJ Power Boosters, BGS 95, $920. MJ, just the regular Hoops High Voltage, not the parallel, $700. I love this trade card right here so much. So got to give you like a brief history on this trade card. This card never made it into packs. This card was stolen from Upper Deck by some employee looking to go make some money. Then they go out and he starts selling them out on the market. It has all the redemption language on the back. This was not ever in packs though. The Sign of the Times MJ Auto from 1997 was issued in the pack. They had the trade cards produced just in case they would need them, and MJ didn't sign in time. He did sign in time. Then they were stolen. They're then sold out into the community. People are buying them left and right, thinking, I can redeem this for a Jordan autograph. And then what happened? In Beckett, they realized what happened, and Beckett announces these will not be redeemable. And then all of a sudden, the redemption date went past. But I wonder how many people paid thousands of dollars or at least high hundreds of dollars for this card and then couldn't redeem it with Upper Deck. Really a debacle and an important moment in card history. I love this card. I'll bet this is my old card, actually. I'll bet it is. Let's look. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. If it's in the low ones. Nope, I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. The reason that I say this is at one point I had almost the whole set. I know that's crazy. Almost the whole set of MJ exclusives. This one right here. Like there's like 30 of them or something, and I had like 25 or something like that. And I graded a bunch of them. I think I graded like 15 of them. And when I graded them, they were the only ones on the whole pop report, and I graded them with Beckett. It's numbered to 25. I've seen the golds, obviously seen the regular silvers. These ones are marked by a really brilliant holofoil route throughout, which is really cool on a card that was out of $1 per pack product. It's very, very neat. And there's a bunch of them, but they're very cool. And if you're into MJ stuff from this era, that's one of those that you don't see very often. Big PSA 10 right here. Only 80, the main Ultra Gold card. Damon out of 61 on the future Essential Credentials. Number 61 at $350. LJ, number to 33 in a PSA 7 slab. See, to me, like this LJ is one of his best cards in existence. This is a big card of Damon, but the LJ is a huge card. I would think that this LJ should be like worth 3 or 4 times as much, but who knows? Maybe I'll be wrong about that. Maybe even more than 4 times as much, honestly. Shaq, PSA 9. Grant Slayton on the on Sports Cards Live said that this was vastly better looking than the Row Zero. I don't know about that. He thinks so, though, and his opinion really matters. I think it's pretty close. Row Zero has always sort of been viewed as the best row from where I sit, but other people disagree. $909, second year of these serial numbered legacy cards. $611 for his Steph 1 of 1. Is this stamped 1 of 1? I don't know what super it says it is. I got to look at this. Asia? 1 of 1. Asia. What is Asia? Hollow Gold Asia Supernova. Boy, I don't know the story here, but it's worth looking at. You don't see a lot of Steph 1 of 1s that are that cool looking for that price. Maybe it'll just get it'll blow up. Second year of Ultimate Collection, Michael Jordan patch. They just didn't have a lot of patches back then, guys. They just didn't. This was out of 100. There was also a version out of 25, 10, 5, and 1. Not 1. I think there's just 20. Maybe there's not 1 out of 5 either. Anyway, worth looking at this one. Game Used Wizards patch, though, that was made during his playing days. Okay, guys, huge auction from MC. I'm just going to scroll down real quick. There's so much awesome stuff. I can't hit all of it, though. I can't. There's just too much good stuff. Boy, oh, look at this Derek Anderson out of 18. There is one you don't see every day. That's worth looking at. Man, MC, look at you. Like well onto the second page. How far are we going to go here? A gold Ultra Stars KG. Are we going to get onto the third page here? I mean, this is crazy. This is nuts. Big MJ. Some people believe this is... No, never mind. That's not what I thought it was. Still a big MJ. Cal Ripken Jr., look at that patch auto. Big Country, PSA 7 at $1,777. Kobe 8.5s at $8,100. Ooh, a tag 10. I had a friend send this to me. Tom Brady, tag 10, 2000 Bowman football. How is this going to compare with a PSA 10? One of the things that you got to like about tag, or maybe some people don't like, but I do, is that you get this score right here, 973. 973 is all of them combined. Get to a 973. How does that compare to a PSA 10? It's worth watching, worth seeing. The East-West with Kobe, one of the coolest cards out there, $4,200 on that. And then the Jordan in a PSA 4 is at $24,000. And then ironically, my card's next after that. I've got 5 of these listed. I'm almost done with my Eminence base set. And the reason I had to sell it, I had to sell the whole Eminence base set, guys. Had to sell it because I'm buying this big card on Friday. All right, how are we doing on time? Yeah, I'm running out of time, guys. I got to move faster. Let's now look to hoodies. Hoodies on eBay has a couple of cards that have recently been pulled. It's pretty clear to me. I'm sort of just guessing here, but I think I'm going to be right about this. We've got a couple of cards that are selling this week on eBay that are from hoodies. They're recent pulls, and my guess is that hoodies has just been having some big guys coming and open some big product. Because look at this, both Lukas, both of the most recent products, 1-1, and this vertical patch auto right here. What is this logoman tag? We've got to look closer at this. Let's look at both of these. We're going to spend some real time on both of these cards and highlight, what is interesting about them. So flawless with NBA stuff is always game worn, always. Now, I love what Panini did here. I love it. I think it's awesome. This is a Laker Luka card. This is a numbered out of 5. He signed it. It's got a piece of jersey that's game worn. And it says right here where it came from. It came from a jersey when he was a member of the Mavs. They're not trying to trick anybody. But the design here, you can't tell. You don't look at this. I guess maybe DAL just stands for Dallas. So that's how you would know. But you don't look at it and go, oh, those are Dallas Mavericks colors. Or, oh, that's like that. That's weird. This looks good. It looks the way that you want it to. And then if you take this code and you go enter it in online and spend some time, you're probably going to be able to figure out what game it came from. That's what's really nice about this. So you know that it's from a Mavericks uniform. You know that it's game worn. You know that it's out of 5. You know he does not have a lot of Lakers autograph patches to date. And it's from one of the very last products of the Panini era, 2024 Flawless. It's very cool. I might have that as a top 5 card. Now this card right here, I got to understand what's going on with this tag. What is going on with this tag, guys? What is this writing all about? Do we know? Do you guys know what that is? I don't know what it is, but I think it's really cool. If we scroll down, let's see if they've included any sort of description. My guess is that they haven't, because I don't think anybody knows. I don't think it's easy to figure it out. Wouldn't it be interesting to find out, though? It's only had 197 viewers so far. That's because it's been up for this ends today. I'm surprised it hasn't been viewed by more people. How many people are watching it? Okay, so this is where things are broken. Look at this. 197 views, but there's 300 and something people watching it. I guess it's possible to watch from the outside and not even click on the item. Maybe that's what's happening, but I want to know what's going on with that logoman tag. The way that it's cut, you sort of wonder for a second whether it's a regular logoman or if it's tag. But you can see on the side here that it's a tag because it's got this like authentic strip right there. Game worn used, which when he was with a member of the Dallas Mavs, it's so cool that they're sort of like owning that as part of it. Then you'd say, well, Adam, you'd rather have him where he's with the Lakers. Yeah, for sure. But it's not. So don't hide it. Just say what it is. It's still a Luka autograph patch. I think this probably means that he doesn't have any Laker patch autos where he's actually like where the piece of jersey that's being cut up was when he was with the Lakers. I think that's what that means. We won't get any of those unless there's some in Eminence. But why would they buy a Luka jersey to just then like just put it in Eminence when they're losing the license? It seems unlikely to me. I really like both of these. Which one do you guys like better? This one's at 12 grand. Flawless is the more premium brand. This little thing right here. This one's not signed. I didn't even recognize that at first. This one not being signed certainly matters. I'm taking the autograph every time. Every time. I'm going to keep that one up because I might put that one on the thumbnail. I might do it. Okay. And then we'll get out of hoodies. Been through hoodies now. We've been through MC Sports. Wait, I wanted to come back real quick on the MC. I was going to look at this Jordan PSA 4 here. I just wanted to understand, like, is this, why isn't it going? How bad of a PSA 4 is this? It says that it has the Fanatics E sticker, top 15%. I mean, it's not mint, but geez, that's a nice 4. Like, the centering on this card, for this card, actually really good. And yes, it has white, but look really closely at all of them out there. You're going to see white on most of these cards. That corner, not great. The rest of them, sort of average. This one's also not good, but this is the real problem. This right here, and then the chipping on the edges. But yeah, I agree with the assessment here. This is a really nice 4. A friend sold a 3 not that long ago that was just a disaster. I mean, like lots of rounding, poor corners. To me, this is not in the same vicinity as that card. This is just a much nicer card. Yeah, really interesting one to watch tonight. If you're in the market for a PSA graded MJ that's not altered and you want it to look decent and not spend like a ton on it, this is probably the single best option you're going to have at this point. It's got the NBA gold sticker on it too. Yeah, that card's really cool. I really like that card a lot. I'm actually going to put it over here too. I don't think I'll use it because it's sort of just like beat up, but like I might use it for the thumbnail. Okay, let's talk about Golden. Golden's weekly auction ends on Thursday. And as part of their weekly auction, we're sorted by from highest to lowest here. We start with a not so yellow PSA 9 Duncan Go Nuts MJ. Compare this to all the other ones you're going to see. This one's going to be a lot nicer than those BGS 9.5s and BGS 10s and some PSA 10s that we've seen. Maybe not PSA 10s. I'm not right about it. It doesn't actually matter. There's probably PSA 10s like this that are super yellow, right? Because the thing that people need to know, the yellowing is happening in a lot of cases after the card's been put in the holder. So a card can be in any holder. The question isn't, to a lot of collectors, what's its grade? The question is, how does the card actually look? How yellowed is it? I'm not saying this is the best copy because you can see, like, look right next to the card. In fact, we're going to look at it in just a second. We'll pull it up and we'll talk some more about that one. What is this Francisco Lindor collection? BGS 10, PSA 10 examples, just like a giant lot of Francisco Lindor. Maybe it's like a whole bunch of different variations and then some duplicates. That's kind of cool. Anthony Edwards, Kaboom, $8,000. Man, Kaboom's crazy. Shohei, carrying the bag. PSA 10, $5,000. Jordan Slam Bams. We saw a Jordan Slam Bams with a hole punched out of it sell for a ton of money a few months ago. And what's really been interesting is that it sold for as much as it did. And then we have these regular ones that are sort of selling for something similar. Historically, the hole punched out of it was worth a lot less, but maybe not anymore. Aaron Judge Bowman Draft, the autograph, 9.5, just the regular refractor. Super cool card. 7.5, Messi Kaboom. What is this? Cal Raleigh, Mr. 60 home runs. Really cool Big Poppy Shield autograph. Look at this dual autograph right here. I don't know who that second autograph is, but man, he is signing right. Look at that thing. That's got to be Ronaldinho. This has got to be Lamal. Man, this makes me just love Ronaldinho. That is an awesome autograph. One of the best looking baseball cards ever made. I love this Jeter. One of the best looking autographs ever. I love that Tiger autograph. And the second most iconic soccer card of the 2000s. Cristiano Ronaldo in a BGS 8. I love this triple autograph. These have never taken off in value the way that I would have thought. 3 great quarterbacks. It's $1,400. 3 great quarterbacks who are related. Dad and sons. Man, they should buy that card. That card's so cool. Derek Jeter at a 94. I mean, that card right there, that card is just as cool as anything else that we've seen up today. $1,400. Nuts. Some video games, some racing, a triple jersey of the big 3. That's really cool. Maybe about the cheapest MJ autograph you're going to find from the Upper Deck era at this point. These are not super rare. The autograph doesn't look amazing. Worth watching that one to see like what the bottom end of MJ autographs sell for these days. Let's do one more page. We'll do it very quickly. Some video games, some VHS, a Superfractor, Chris Bryant Superfractor. Is that a first Bowman Chris Bryant? That'll be interesting to watch. A Noise Boy MJ in an 8. PSA 10 Kobe Tops. I love these Dynasty autograph patches. I love this LeBron autograph right here that pays homage to the original autograph version of that set that most people do not know exists. And we're going to go look at this card at Golden. So when you pull this up, what I would suggest doing with all of these cards, every auction house should be putting this card on a white background. So kudos to Golden. They've done it right here. Putting this card on a black background, doesn't work. Doesn't give buyers what they need to know. You can't tell if it's yellow or clear. Should never happen. An auction house should never put this on black background. So where this is white, what you can do is you can compare the white to the card itself. And you can see it's not perfectly clear. If it would be perfectly clear, that would be shocking. The question is, how yellow is it? And compared to the ones that I have seen recently, this one is amazing, which leads to a really interesting comparison. Would you as a collector rather have something that's high grade, like a BGS 9.5 or even BGS 10, but super yellow, or something that's not a perfect grade, like a PSA 9, but man, it looks really good? For me, it's not close. The card is what matters. It always comes back to the card. Now, there's guys that collect things like population, or the guys that do like the registries. And some of them might want to save money and get a card that's not nearly as nice, that's in the higher grade. I totally get that. That's just not how I collect. To me, it always comes back to the card. Okay, at the top of this alt auction is a card that I have not done research on yet, but I want to. This Tiger right here, didn't alt just sell this card for like a record selling price? It makes me wonder if it wasn't paid for. And I wonder if we look at Card Ladder, if we can figure that out. So I'm going to try. I'm going to see if we can get there. I don't know if we can. I haven't looked at this up in the first place. I should have looked this up. I didn't. I want to just try it and see what we learn. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to type in Tiger 2001 Upper Deck Auto. And we're going to sort by highest. Yeah. Confirmed paid. Is it a different copy? Maybe it's a different copy. That would be really cool. Number 9 of 25. It's a different copy, guys. It is a different copy. I'm so glad we looked this up. So check this out. This is so interesting. So in Card Ladder, we can see the alt back 3 weeks ago had a sell of this card for $217,000. It sold for more than anything else with this listing, 2001 Upper Deck Auto. I do not have SP listed here, and I'm certain not all of these have Upper Deck in the title. So, in fact, if we just take off Upper Deck and we leave 2001, my guess is we're going to see something that sold for more. Yes, we do. We see there are 3 SP Authentics that have sold for more than this card did at alt. But the card shows that it was paid for. And it shows that it was paid $218,000 were paid for this card not that long ago. I knew it was going to sell for a big number, but that was like, holy moly. Now here we are with this card again. Also a Gem 10. And, Gem 10 there. Ends in 341. Just the card graded. Ends in 500. Just the card graded. Will this card follow this astronomical sell? I have no idea. I always get nervous when two cards like this sell this close together. Because the question, of course, that I ask is like, wait a second. Could there have been shenanigans on this first one? Sorry, on the card ladder one. Could there have been? And I don't know that there was at all. It's impossible to know that there was. What we know is all, and I think all we can know is what card ladder is telling us, which is, hey, this was paid for. And it's great to see it. We've confirmed that this has been paid for. And that means like alt has confirmed to them that it was paid for. And that's awesome. But how does that affect how people see it, how people see this? I don't really know. What's more likely than people doing some sort of shenanigans is people looking at this card and going, or somebody who owns this card looked at it and they saw alt sell and they were like, man, I got to send that card to alt because that sold for so much money. And that makes sense to me. I would totally understand somebody doing that. So my goodness, guys, my goodness. Okay. MJ95. 0.5 away from pristine 10. That means we've got 2 9.5s and 2 10s on here. Really interesting what percentage of them are that nice. It's very small. Over $100,000 with BP right now. Definitely my card of the day at alt, though, is this one right here. I saw it earlier as I was glancing at it. I have always wanted a copy of this card for obvious reasons. If you're an autograph collector, I don't know how you couldn't go bonkers for this card. 2 Lakers, a Cav, and a Bull. It's got the big 3: MJ, Kobe, LeBron, in the right order too, which meaning historically, right, chronologically. MJ, Kobe, LeBron, and then you've got Magic. I guess if I was to change it a little bit, I might put Magic at the top. Although MJ's never, like almost never signs in the middle. I might have it be all chronological. Upper Deck and the card companies have to think about that because the players get pretty prideful about it. I used to have a quad. Mine had Kevin Garnett instead of Magic. I've always loved the metallic autographs though. And so I think I like this one more than the one that I had. It is very, very cool. Very cool piece. Okay, we're going to call it there for alt. And now we're going to get to Fanatics Collect. Okay, Fanatics weekly auction. We don't have any premiere to look at. We just have the weekly. And we're going to hit Fanatics and we're going to hit Card Hobby. Wait a second. Why didn't I get into, I know I had sorry guys. I know I had a hoodies up. Let's go back and I had a hoodies folder up or tab open. I don't know why it's not open anymore. Sorry. Let's do this real quick. Let's go. Man, I am getting old. I'm getting old because I just went back and realized that I'd already done it, of course, with those massive 2 cards. So forgive me for that, guys. All right, let's look at Fanatics Collect, where we get right off the top a really huge auction that we're going to spend a little bit of time on here because we need to. The Steph Curry Topps Chrome Refractor in a BGS 9.5. And we're going to talk about why this one might be a very interesting sale compared to some of the other ones that we've seen. Then we have the Messi Mega Cracks in a BGS 9. We recently saw one of those, so really huge. And then an 8.5. Then the Legacy MJ from row 0, one of my favorite cards from 1996 and one of my favorite MJ cards. In fact, at this point, up till 96, 97, this is my favorite Michael Jordan card. Like as far as like rare 90s stuff goes, this is my favorite one. It's between this and the Credentials. I think it's this one. This is 1/3 as rare as the Credentials. Not good stuff. Oh, it is good stuff. Sorry. Of Kobe PSA 9. The Atomic Refractor MJ, the first Atomic Refractor of Michael Jordan. There's 3 from the set. In a PSA 10, that's a huge card. BGS 9 on the Rookie of the Year. A big Michael Jordan autograph. Lots of Jordan stuff. Linchpins. Shohei, non-licensed, but really, really cool. And from all the way back in 2018. Kobe silver signature from the very first year of Ultimate. Numbered out of 75. Oh, here we go. 2012, DeMarcus Ware. Really a big card. Now, DeMarcus Ware may not be the biggest guy as far as like biggest selling cards and that sort of thing. But I'm just going to tell you, like DeMarcus Ware is a really popular guy. It was always really popular for the Cowboys. And this is the 2012 Prism Black Finite. That will be one of the most interesting watches the whole week. Kobe From the Thrill Seeker set, ooh, a PSA 9 Steph regular chrome rookie. A Satch PSA 6 out of 49. 49 Satch is important because he also has a 48 Leaf, and people have historically thought of that as a rookie card. But what we've learned recently is those 48 Leafs were actually made in 49, meaning that if that's a rookie, this is a rookie too. Let's do another page here for Fanatics Collect. Big Brady here, 2006 gold PSA 9. That's a huge card. A PSA 9 on the Kaboom Kobe. 2022 Shohei Topps Finest Flashbacks. Looking like the old school finest card. Neat autograph on that. BGS 85 Jordan. An East-West Kobe. You're seeing a lot of these move because they're selling for so much money compared to what they were worth before. Look, we've got 2 of them up this week. How crazy is that? 2 PSA 9s on that card. That's nuts. That's insane. PSA 10 on the Vince Chrome Refractor. I love this card. We're going to look at it real quick. There's something that I want to show you guys on that one that will be worth noting. Regardless of grade, you will want to make sure you see that. Wow. Kevin Durant PSA 10 Refractor. $3,100. Man, it's amazing how much that card has fallen. Be interesting to see what that sells for now. MJ's second to final Chrome Refractor in a PSA 10 is at $2,900. A lot of good stuff up. Slam Cams MJ. You guys know I always love that card every time we see it. And then let's do one more page. I really flew through those last couple pages. Ooh, a Dion. Big Dion. Huge Dion. His PMG from 1998. We know it in basketball as the PMG champ. They know it as just the PMG from 98 in football. That's a huge card. He just does not have a lot of big cards like that. PSA 10 on the Brady, really neat quad patch on the Brady. Brett PSA 9 and a holder that was made in 1987, it looks like. No, that thing is legit. Look how old that holder is. Different font and everything. You rarely see that different font on the PSA holder. Once they switched that font, they basically kept it forever. Okay, let's look at these 2 cards that we pulled up. So the Steph. I've talked a lot about this card, but you guys know what I'm highlighting. If you've done anything with me over the years, you're going to look at this card and say, why is Adam spending time on this? I want to see how many of these are straight 9.5s or better. I don't think I've done that on the refractor before. I think I have done it on the regular Chrome. If I've done it on the regular refractor, I apologize, but let's go find out. So what we're going to do, we're going to come over here and we're going to type in Beckett Pop Report, right? We're going to start there, and then we're going to click here, and we're going to go basketball 2009-10 Topps, and we're going to just type in Curry. And unless I did something wrong, which I probably did, nope, it'll pop up. So Chrome plates, Chrome Refractor. Okay, 211. So 211 of these things have been graded. Well, of the 211, actually, I clicked on the wrong button, darn it. Of the 211, how many of them are 9.5s? So there's 3 10s. There's actually 101 9.5s, which is what would we say about, that's about half of them, right? If we click on the 101, though, we get this listing right here. And what's really cool is we can take all of this, we can copy it, we can go dump it into an Excel file. And that's what I'm going to do. Dump it into an Excel file, and I'm going to show it to you guys. Show you as I do this. Some of you guys have said you love it when I do stuff like this, and I love doing stuff like this, so we're going to do it. You cannot see it right now, though, so I'm going to show it to you quickly by getting out of here, and then by sending, heck, why am I dumb? So let's do that, and let's get out of there, and then share. Sorry, guys. I should have just stopped this, I know. Share this. Okay, how are we doing on time? Okay, we're doing fine on time. So this is 100 of them. This isn't all 101 because the last one, I think there's one more to look at. Oh, no, there's not. This is all 101. So you can see all 101 items right now. Very cool. We'll make it bigger so we can even see it better than that. And you've got the serial numbers here, and this is all 101 that yield a 9.5. Now, the question, of course, is how many of them don't have a 9 in there. And as we look at the first three all do. This fourth one has 3 9.5s and a 10. That's actually a better grade for the card. If we do this, we come in here and we just sort first by E. So we're going to sort by E. So hit data, sort, come down here and hit E. Look at this. Now all of these cards we know have a 9 in them. So then let's come down to row 10, because we're trying to figure out how many are all 9.5s or better, right? We're sort now by F. F is the, so we did centering. Centering only filtered out a few. I thought it'd filter out more. Maybe this won't be as big of a deal as I thought, but corner. Let's sub out the corners. Oh dear. Holy moly. Guys, are you looking at this? The corners basically all have 9s. We're down to row 63. We just took out, like, of the 101, let's just say 100 to make it easy. Of the 100, 54 of them have corners with a 9 subgrade. Think that's significant? 54 of the BGS 9.5 chrome refractors of Steph Curry, 54 of the 101 have 9 corner subgrades. This is huge. It's a huge deal. This will likely sort of influence how I think about my reels this week, because I don't think people know this. I didn't know this. Maybe people do. Maybe I'm the only one who doesn't know this. But now let's sort by G. What is G? G is surface. Oh, man. Guys. Another 13, which leaves very last one, which we haven't done, which is, we've done surface. We haven't done edges, right? So we haven't done edges. So this has got to be edges. I'll confirm. Wow. Are there none? That's crazy. So you're telling me that every 9.5 that exists, am I crazy? Oh, I sorted by I. I'm an idiot. So forgive me for my dumb moment there. Sort by H. Okay. There had to be some. Like, there's got to be some where there's an edge that's a 9. There's 6 of them, which leaves a grand total of the 101 of the 109.5. Sorry, of the 101.95 Steph Curry Topps Chrome refractors, there are 21 that have all 9.5s or better. There's 3 BGS 10s too. So it makes it a top 24 card that has been graded by Beckett. Is that a big deal? I think that's a huge deal. I do. These ones all right here are 9.5, and then you'll get into some here after a second that get to 10. See, these two are 2 10s. This one these ones right here have a 10. These have 10s, and then it looks like there's none with 2 10s. There's actually, that's weird. How are there? Tell me how there can be 3 BGS 10s and there's none with more than 1 10 subgrade. That's crazy to me, but it is what it is. Did I look at that wrong? I don't think I did. Well, guys, to me, that's a huge, huge learning right there. I hope that was interesting to you guys. Let me pull up. Let's see. So that's it for the Steph Topps Chrome. I hope you guys find that interesting. Now, the last thing that I want to look at here with you guys, you can see this Jordan Thunder and Lightning is one of the best looking Jordan inserts ever made. I absolutely love this card. If you look at the back, it's a two-sided refractor. And if I remember right, I think that the Lightning might like glow in the dark on the card, maybe even something crazy like that. I might be wrong. I might be remembering that wrong. I might be thinking of another insert. Don't quote me on that. But if you come into here, you're going to notice something, and this is just true on all of them, guys. If you scroll in, you're going to see there's stuff that's not Lightning. Turns out it's really tough to make a two-sided refractor, and I think from a quality control perspective, they probably looked at that and went, "Ah, man, we didn't get that exactly right." They He didn't, but it sort of blends in with a lightning a little bit. You might not even notice it if I don't show it to you. What's clear, it's a difficult card. It's a beautiful card, especially the front. And I think it's one of the coolest MJ inserts ever. All right, last thing that we're going to look at, the first page of sorted from highest to lowest on Card Hobby auctions. It's not just basketball, it's everything. But if you know Card Hobby, you know the vast majority, and I mean the vast majority, is basketball. Look, the first 8. Like, where do we get to before we get to like a non-basketball item? 13th item overall is the first non-basketball item. Starting out with a Steph 2022 Night with the championship, 7 out of 10, 1-in-1 autograph. Then a 1-in-1 Steph autograph redemption. Then a Noir Steph. Then we get to Paolo Banchero, the flawless RPA, game-used RPA. LeBron, Logoman tag. Not a Logoman, but a Logoman tag. Is it a 1-in-1? Is it a 1-in-1 1-of-1? I have to look at that. I want to know that, whether it's a 1-of-1 or not, because that will make a difference in how I think about the card. It's 2 out of 5. So 2 out of 5. Steph Curry, 1-of-1, impeccable autograph. I don't know what's going on here. What is this card? Impeccable shots. Cool. Autograph looks awesome. Card serial number to 1. It's still in the original Panini case. It's very cool. 81, Kobe Bryant in black ink. Must be from 2016. Yep, sure is. Jordan Poole. My guy, Tyler Tarver, loves this card. From 2019 Flawless. He's got the championship tag. It's from Flawless. Is it a rookie card? It is. It's really cool. It's very, very cool. And if we come back, quad autograph. Oh, actually, this is really cool. I want to look at that one with you guys. That's going to be one of my favorite cards of the week. I didn't know that card existed until right now. Anything else on here that we want to look at really close? That's a really cool LeBron. What is going on with the bottom there? Topps motif, huh? Better look and see what that shiny stuff is there. Kobe autograph. Court Kings. Love Court Kings. Does that have a serial number on it? That's weird. We got to look at that card too. Oh, I love this Anthony Davis. Is this a 1-of-1? It must be because he signed it with his full autograph. There's 2 of these up. I think they accidentally listed that card twice. Is it a different card? Maybe it's a different card. We're going to look at that too. Okay, we got like 6 cards for Card Hobby, man. Maybe less. Okay, so do you see the commonality with these 4 guys right here? This is turning into one of the great draft classes, guys. Luka at 3, Trey at 5, Shea at, what was it, like 13 or 14, and then Jalen Brunson end of the first round. All on card. That is a cool piece. Man, that is a really cool card. Now, it's not brand new. You can see Luka is not in a Lakers uniform. It is from last year. In fact, 2023, 24. But all 4 of those guys on a card. I mean, those are 4 of the biggest names in the NBA this year. And by the way, people are like, Trey's not that good. Trey's about to have himself a huge year. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think he's got a chance to have a really big year given where the Eastern Conference is and given how good of an offseason the Hawks had. I think he's going to have a huge year. And that might be one of my 5 favorite cards of the week. I love that card. Okay, this LeBron motif. What is this shiny thing here? Is it just a cool design or something? Numbered out of 19. Oh, 19. It's just a big 1-9. I don't know why I didn't see that at first. That's really cool. Kind of reminds you of the shine that you see on the impeccable signatures. Kobe. Oh, I thought it looked like a serial number down here. It's just the way that the light is hitting his name, which is in holofoil. That's a great looking autograph of Kobe. And Anthony Davis. Are these 2 different cards? They are. That's so cool. And he signed it like a 1-of-1. Good for you, Anthony Davis. So if you don't know already, Anthony Davis has one of the coolest things. where he signs his 1-of-1 cards with a longer form autograph than he does his other cards. And he's been pretty consistent on it. I found a few 1-of-1s where he didn't do it. And other than his rookie year, I've seen a few other cards where he did do the longer autograph. This is the longer form. Usually his regular form is just like a big AD. This one's like Andy D, but this is certainly the better one. What's weird is this card isn't a 1-of-1 though. This is a 1/2. And the 1/2 happens to be listed at the exact same time that the 2/2 is, which is even cooler. And they're both with a long form autograph. Dabo cards. Selling both of them at the same time. Man, that's interesting. You wish you could have played longer with the Lakers. He is part of that 17th championship. It's really cool. If I was an Anthony Davis collector, I think having those two cards together would be about as cool as it gets. And is that it for us? I think that's it. Okay, you guys know some awesome cards up this week. The Luka, the MJ Star, this quad autograph, so many others. It's a huge week of auctions. It's a huge week every week. There's none of the big giant ones happening, but a lot of big stuff. I hope you guys didn't mind that first 14 minutes of the show today. It's certainly not a world where being vulnerable is like the greatest decision, but I kind of made a decision a long time ago. I'm just going to be who I am. And if people don't like it, that's okay too. I'm going to tell you guys what I think. And if the other option obviously today was just not to do the show, but I wanted to talk to you guys about that. So hope you don't mind me sharing those things. But if you do, that's okay too. I'm still going to share them. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a great week and thinking about you guys. And until next time, happy collecting.